guys, welcome back to my channel and I'm back again with another really interesting premium LeetCode question video. And in this video guys, we are going to solve question number 243, which is called as shortest word distance. So let's get into the problem statement. So the problem statement basically says that given an array of strings, words dict, so basically it's a list of words you can see here, we have to find out that two different strings which already exist in the array and that are in these variables word1 and word2. So for these two strings we have to return the shortest distance between these two words in the list. So to explain it with an example, let's look into example 1. We have got this list here, words dict, and we have got 5 words in it: practice, makes, perfect, coding, makes. So you can see that the two words that already exist in the array are practice and coding, and these are these two variables word1 and word2. Word1 is coding and word2 is practice. We have to find out the shortest distance between these two words. So if you see that between practice and coding there is a difference of 3 words and the output is 3. But the catch here is that these two words, practice and coding, only occur once in this list. Whereas if you look into the example number 2, the words that we are given is makes and coding. Now if you look into the word makes, it actually occurs in 2 places in this list. It occurs in this index number 1 and it also occurs at the last index. But the closer occurrence of the makes is the last word, because in this case it is actually present adjacent to the word coding. So if you now see the difference between this coding word and this makes word is actually 1, because they are right adjacent to each other. Whereas if you would have taken this makes word and this coding word, the difference would have been 2. So the output in that case would have been 2. But because we have to return the shortest distance, we will take this occurrence of makes and this occurrence of coding, and that's why the output is 1. So this is how this question needs to be solved with the shortest distance. Let's look into some constraints. The first thing is that the length of this list goes from 2 to 3 into 10 raised to power 4. So it's a long list. And the length of each word can go from 1 to 10. And also this list consists of lowercase English letters only, which is a good thing for us. And word 1 and word 2 are in this list. So there will never be a case where these two words or any one of these words are not in the list itself, and the word 1 is not equals to word 2. So this is also given. Now that we know about the problem statement, we also know about the constraints. Let's look into the solution approach. So first thing first guys, there are 2 ways you can solve this problem. The first thing is that you can actually you can do a brute force approach. How is that you can do a brute force approach guys? That you can first run an outer loop and look into the index of word 1, and then you can run an inner loop and look into the index of word 2. And when you are running an inner loop, for every occurrence of word 1, you will look into every occurrence of word 2, and eventually in the inner loop you will keep updating the minimum distance between the word 1 and word 2. Okay, so basically you run a loop, you look for the first index of word 1, then you run an inner loop, you look into the next index of word 2, then you update the minimum distance, and again you run the outer loop until and unless you have actually traversed all the occurrences of word 1, and for each and every occurrence you have traversed all the occurrences of word 2, and finally you have gotten the minimum distance. Now because we are running 2 loops here, and one is an outer loop, one is an inner loop, what would be the time complexity? So in that case guys, obviously the time complexity is going to be n square, because you have got a outer loop and an inner loop, right? So let's say there are n words. Because we are running 2 loops, it will be n into n, and it will be a quadratic it will be a quadratic time complexity. Okay, so it will be n to the power 2. Sorry, n to the power 2. Okay, so this is not an ideal time complexity that we want to achieve, guys, because this is a brute force approach. What we can do it, we can actually solve this problem in a single pass solution. So let's look into the single pass solution here. So in the single pass solution, guys, we will run a single loop. So in a single loop, we will first find out the occurrence of word 1, and in that for loop we will make sure that we will continue to update the occurrence of word 1 or the occurrence of word 2 until unless we have found the minimum distance. Okay, so in a single pass we will first find the occurrence of word 1. So let's say the location of word 1, and we will update that. Okay, then in that same for loop we will update the location of word 2, and then in the end we will check before closing the for loop that what is the minimum distance. So this is the minimum distance, which is basically location 1 minus location 2, and we are always taking the absolute difference. Okay, so we are taking the absolute difference. Now in this single pass, when we will continue to update the location of word 1 and word 2, and we will continue to update the minimum distance between the word 1 location and word 2 location, eventually we will come into that conclusion where we will have the minimum distance that is going to be the minimum distance between both the words. Okay, so what we have to do in a single for loop, first we will find the first location of word 1, then we will find the first location of word 2, we will find the minimum distance, and in the next pass we will again see if the location of word 1 is found again, we will update this location, we will again find if the location of word 2 is found again, we will update this location, we will find the minimum distance again, and we will continue to do that until unless we have traversed all the words in this entire list and we have made sure that we have actually seen all the occurrences of word 1 and word 2, and we have updated the minimum difference. Okay, so this is how we are going to solve this problem. So now that we are clear with the optimized approach, it is time for me to show you the code. This is the code, guys. Let's look into this code first. So first of all, guys, we are going to initialize two variables because we need these two variables to keep updating in that single for loop, and these two variables will be the location of the word 1 and the location of the word 2. We are initializing them to -1 because initially we have not found any word in the word array or the word dictionary. Now we will also initialize another variable which is L, and that is the length of the whole dictionary, because we will use this length to actually traverse the array. And not only that, initially we are creating another variable which is called as minimum distance between the word 1 and word 2. We will initialize this to the length of the whole list because until now we have not found any word, and we will assume that both the words are actually, one could be at the first of the list and other could be at the end of the list, and we initially will think that the maximum distance between these two words is the maximum length of the whole array. So this is what we are initializing the minimum distance to. Now let's start our single pass for loop. So when our for loop starts, we will first check if the word in the dictionary, the ith word in the dictionary, is equals to word 1. If it is equals to word 1, then we will simply update the word 1 location to I. Now we will check if this is equals to word 1, it's great. We will update the word location to I. But we will also check if this word is if this ith word is equals to word 2. Then if it is, then we will update the word 2 location to I. Okay. Now we will check if both the words have been updated. So if both the word locations have been found, that means the word 1 LOC is also greater than or equals to 0. Word 2 LOC is also greater than or equals to 0. That means none of them is -1. Then we will finally find the minimum distance. The minimum distance is going to be the previously found distance and now the next absolute difference between word 1 and word 2 location. and we will continue the for loop. So for the next ith word in the range of words that we have, we will again check if that word is equals to word 1. If it is, we will update this location. We will again check if that word is equals to word 2. We will again update the location. And if any of these location is updated, again we will check the minimum distance. If the minimum distance is updated, we will update this variable. If it is not, we will keep it the same. And eventually when this whole for loop is actually done, we will have this minimum distance variable updated to the minimum distance between both these two words. Now let's run this code, guys. Let's see if this actually works for our cases, and you can see it passes all the test cases and eventually it gets accepted as well. So if I talk about the time complexity, guys, in this case, because we are running a single for loop, the time complexity will be order of n, which is the length of the for loop. And you can see that we are just comparing the whole word as is. We are not actually going through the length of the word, but you can actually make it like n cross and L, which is the length of the word as well. So you can make it almost n cross L, where L is the length of the word and n is the number of words. But because the length of the word only goes from 1 to 10, we can almost ignore this and we can make it like a order of n equation as well. But to be precise, let's keep it n cross L. Now let's look into the space complexity. So for space complexity, we only took 2 extra spaces, guys, because we only created 2 variables, and we can make them as constants because there is nothing changing about them. Hence the space complexity is going to be order of 1. Okay, so this is going to be the complexity, guys. I hope you guys understood this question and I hope you learned something from it. If you did like this question, guys, then please do not forget to like this video and share this video with your friends. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feedback for me, please do write down in the comment section below. I would be really happy to address them. And also in the end, guys, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon for future notifications of more such programming and coding related videos. I'll see you guys in the next video, guys. Until then, take care. Bye bye.